What's up, everyone? Hell Feeds Podcast here, episode 68.
Yes, sir.
Biggest Gamer.
Adamar.
And today we are back again for Beyond the Timescape month.
I have a question. Last week, we both read ahead. This week, I didn't read a single chapter ahead. How about you?
No.
Okay.
So, no idea what happens.
Yeah, so we're capped 660. This 630 to 660. And it was crazy. Again. And it looks like it's like, this is all prep.
Yeah.
This is all prep.
This is the biggest prep of all time.
Yeah, and
so
like,
far.
really is, because usually we have like full, maybe like a lot of mini arcs are like maybe like 10 chapters long, and then like a full arc will be done in 50 chapters and Beyond the Timescape. Because so much happens in 50 chapters, which is why we only talk in 30 chapter increments. Yeah. But now it's looking like this is 90 chapters in, and it's basically been like all of it has been Crimson. I think more than these 90 chapters.
Right? Yeah, it's been the Moon Worship region.
I think it started in like 550-ish.
Might start a little earlier than that.
Because I think 540 was when they were about to head out.
Okay.
And then 550, I think, is when he started doing his sundial stuff.
So it's been over... Wait.
It's over 100 chapters.
And it's still going.
Yeah.
Based off of chapter spoilers.
Yeah, just chapter title names.
Yeah.
That's it. We didn't read them.
So I'm just like, this is the longest arc we've had, but it's hit every step of the way.
Every step. So, also, obviously, next week, more Beyond the Timescape.
Mm-hmm.
We are catching up.
Yeah, we're going to catch up to whatever chapter is by Monday.
Yeah.
The next Monday.
By the next Monday, we're just going to go out as hard as we can, finish it, and then...
Hopefully it's done, because it would suck if it's not finished.
Oh my god, yeah. That's what we're banking on.
Yeah, because we're at 660 right now, and it's at 704? 6?
Yep.
So, a week from now, that'll be 14 chapters.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's done by 720.
Yeah, we're not gonna extend it another week.
Yeah, no way, because we can't. I'm not gonna sit here for 14 chapters. That's crazy.
Yeah, so because we could do a 660 to 690 and a 690 to 720. But that's 5 weeks of Beyond the Timescape.
And also, I feel like the chapters are going by so quick. I don't know if 30 right now. Because I feel like the arc is so long, the author's not dragging it.
Yeah, I agree. And also because the arc is such a big arc, I feel like
it's a pivotal arc.
It is a pivotal arc, but also I think before there was more to talk about in 30 chapters because he has to go through a whole arc in pretty much 30 chapters.
That's true.
Here he's setting stuff up, so we might our chapter or our video links might be only 45 minutes compared to another novel that is way less content. But if it's a whole arc, it's just different because here it's just we can he was doing some pill stuff.
Yeah,
that's 6 chapters.
That's what happened last week.
Yeah,
did a lot of pill stuff.
Yeah, so it's that's good. That's good. But all right, where do we start here?
So we left off where he had used the daybreak light to reflect. He's basically using the theory that since light reflects all things, he can copy any techniques using that. And he was able to recreate the Imperial Sovereign's nail to some degree.
Yeah.
And then obviously he was like, I failed. And everyone was just like, what? You weren't even supposed to do that in the first place.
You got way farther than you should have. You were only set back by your cultivation level.
Yeah, literally. But then they kind of showed him hey, you can copy these techniques or whatever, and he's just no, your cultivation as it rises, you'll be able to copy better techniques.
And so they we're talking about the group of smoldering gods. They gave him a bunch of things to copy, and he basically had to try copying them, and he was pretty decent.
Yeah.
So after that, we get a huge pivotal point in the moonrite region, and it is the death of Crimson Moon Goddess in the mortal flesh, in the mortal body. And basically the big plan by the captain is he wants to show everybody that Crimson Moon Goddess has been killed before and give them hope that even if Because right now they're in a constant state of death, right? So these guys, they get born, they go through this horrific region we've been talking about, how it's hell on earth. They die, and then their souls go back into reincarnation, but they reincarnate in the moonrite region again. So it's like forever torment. And the captain's trying to show them that, like, she's been killed before, maybe we can kill her again.
Yeah, so they're trying to gather the hope of all living beings in moonrite worship region. Because right now the
I don't think it's called moonrite worship region.
Moonrite region or moon worship region?
I think it's moonrite region.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen both.
Maybe. It could be. But I feel like I've always seen the moonrite region. Let me see.
Well, regardless, it's especially like helpful right now because the Crimson Moon Goddess is, you know, obviously she's on her way. The red moon appeared and it has caused a state of chaos across the entire region. Everyone is in despair, even obviously the people at the cathedral, because, you know, the stronger you are, you might get...
Not the cathedral people.
No, sometimes that's part of they're also scared. Sometimes she'll eat them.
But they're more excited than scared.
Yeah, but they're still, some of them are kind of, like, some of them are still scared.
Okay, that's fair. But 90% of them are, like, just excited.
Yeah, because they even said, because they said before, like, this is why sometimes they suppress their cultivation, because the stronger you are, it's just, like, the more likely you're going to become food.
Yeah. She likes forward returning snacks the best.
Yeah. So it's just like, but basically the captain was like, all right, we're going to ignite hope, and we're going to finally stir the pot here and start putting into motion a plan to slay the Crimson Moon Goddess. So he gets all the boys together and Nether Sprite, and they all go to... Where is the spot actually?
They do it in the Green Hair Badlands.
Was it in the Green Hair Badlands?
Yeah, they just did it in like an area nearby. Like they didn't go far for this. They did it in like...
No, but they went into like it wasn't in, like it was like in a separate space though. Remember? Because that's why they couldn't find them. Because it was that's what it was. So they went into the spot where the Imperial Sovereign slayed the Crimson Moon Goddess, and the spot was sealed off. I forget how they got in there though for some reason. I don't remember.
I think they restored Eighth Brother, and Eighth Brother was made of doors. I think he was able to like unlock the door. Was that what it was?
I don't know.
Or am I thinking about something else?
You think? Yeah, that has to be something else. I forget however they got in there, because whatever, it was a space hidden away, because Crimson Moon Goddess obviously tested this part of the land because it's where her mortal husk was slain, and so she wanted to hide this piece of history away. But the captain knew where it was, and he got in there. He put everyone in there, and then he was like, "We're gonna direct a play. We're gonna replay the death of the Crimson Moon Goddess, and then we're gonna do a live show to all living beings." And I was like, "Damn, live streaming in the other Timescape."
Yeah, live streaming the other Timescape across the whole region.
Yeah. So the captain was the director. Jian Wu. He's the guy that says poems, right?
Yeah, he's still just the poem guy.
Yeah, so he was gonna play the Imperial Sovereign.
Oh yeah.
Not the Imperial Sovereign, the
Ancient Emperor.
Yeah, Ancient Emperor. Serenity.
Dark Serenity, yes.
And then
Ning Jian, how to forget his name? He's the guy that has the vines and super tough.
Ning Yan.
Ning Yan?
Yeah,
Ning Yan. He was the Imperial Sovereign.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then Nether Sprite was Crimson Moon Goddess. And Zhu King was supposed to be the executioner.
Yeah. And then they were doing it, and then the captain was just kind of exaggerating a bunch of details because they actually don't know what happened because they weren't there. So he's just like, "This happened and this happened.
Lots of blood."
Yeah, and he's like, "Zhu King, when you kill Crimson Moon Goddess, make sure blood splatters everywhere."
Yeah.
And then they're going through the play.
They're practicing.
And then all the Imperial Sovereign's children, they come out like, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And then the heir apparent takes over. He's like, we're going to actually do it for real.
Yeah.
And they do the whole real thing. But in the middle of that, Zuking, he told Zuking, like, oh yeah, this is like where
Imperial Sovereign
killed him, and then Zuking. Actually, no, before that, before they even showed up, Zuking started gaining enlightenment from where they slayed the. What was it?
Crimson Moon Goddess.
Yeah, but like
the god that decapitating altar.
Yeah, so it was an actual altar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so at the god decapitating altar that was used to kill the Crimson Moon Goddess, he started staring at it and starts getting enlightenment. Captain's like, King, you can't start gaining enlightenment right now. And he didn't think it was actually going to happen. Then he's like, oh crap, he's actually starting to get enlightenment.
So the heir apparent was like, okay, you just get enlightenment over there. We'll do the play. And the captain became the executioner, and everybody ran through the play. And so they ran through the play. It was pretty sick. You guys need to read it. And near the end, when the captain is finally about to execute Crimson Moon Goddess, Zuking finally reaches enlightenment. And so what he reaches enlightenment of is of the swing that killed Crimson Moon Goddess was a special ability called the God Decapitating Altar. And he finally learned how to use it. And a pivotal point here that is really important is that we find out that Imperial Sovereign, we actually find out his name.
Li Zihua?
Yeah, Li Zihua. And his and Crimson Moon Goddess knew each other before.
Yeah. It was, honestly, that was a shocking reveal.
Yeah.
She said, I followed you here.
Yeah.
So why are you stopping me? I was like, follow you? So he's not, so he's an original, what happened? He was originally, actually not originally a god, but you're clearly from a different part of the, obviously you're not from Reverend Ancient.
Yeah.
So.
There also was talked about a lot of Brilliant Heaven.
Yeah, so they're clearly from Brilliant Heaven.
Yeah. And so Brilliant Heaven, guys, is what's under Revered Ancient is kind of how I took it.
Yeah, it was sealed away.
Yeah.
Because when the Immortals fought the gods back then and slaughtered them, they sealed away Brilliant Heaven.
Yeah. And so now it's just people in Revered Ancient. And I think there's obviously still people in Brilliant Heaven, but we can't access it.
Yeah.
And we find out from Crimson Moon Goddess that she followed him here, and she was like, I did all this so we could be together. It's pretty much implied. Like they're a couple.
No, I don't think they're a couple.
Really?
I think it was more implied that they were siblings. Not
really?
not siblings, but they grew up as brother and sister.
Really?
I think so. That's the more I read it, where she's like, I followed you here because it's you were the inspiration to everyone else was you came out because you said you're gonna come and become a god and do whatever, and she followed him here to do the same thing, and he's stopping her now. And
I guess I can see that big brother little sister thing. I kind of thought it was she kind of admired him and kind of wanted,
Yeah, the only reason I didn't think that because he already had his whole family, and she wasn't mad about you had all these wife kids. She was just mad that he was stopping her from becoming a god.
And a big point here is that the Imperial Sovereign was a god, and he disabled what was the exact term he used? He purged. I don't think it's purged, but he unignited his own god flame.
Yeah. So since he was a god, and then he went back to the Imperial Sovereign realm.
We don't know
if it's not realm.
Well, just Smoldering God or
whatever's above Smoldering God.
Yeah. He went back to just being, because you remember, guys, there's God cultivation and whatever, and then Smoldering God, this type of type of cultivation, and you can do both at once. He went through both at once. He reached godhood and realized, I don't want this. Got rid of his godhood.
In this whole scene, we're finding this out because Zuking, he was unable to grasp the technique, so he used the daylight break technique to bring. He literally grabbed the image and just expanded it. I was just I thought that was really cool because it's something you could do with tech, right?
Yeah.
You can take a file that might be corrupted, and you can bring it back to life.
Okay.
And I was just
didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean it's really hard.
Okay.
But that's the way it's just kind of described here is it's so difficult, but because he had that technique, it's like the author described it as like history, like even if it's like
it was fleeting, and it was the image wasn't clear.
Yeah.
And so Zhu King was trying to make the image more clear, and he used the daybreak light to do it. And another important part that I think just highlights how Zhu King would really be the only person who could really do this is that he used all 5 of his life lamps, which we can call the sundials now.
Yeah.
He stopped time right at that image so he could more clearly create his image. And so I feel like that just like highlighted how like Zhu King is just one of a kind here.
It was just so cool. And I also like how the author describing like time's like never like history's never really erased. It's like hidden within the wind. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And it's just like who knows what like kind of like what nature has seen.
Yeah.
And Zhu King was able to find that little thing, piece, and like bring it to life. And then he showed this whole thing to everyone because they were broadcasting the play.
Yeah.
And then Zhu King's enlightenment brought the play to life.
Yeah.
And so everyone saw what happened. And then
I just want to say real quick, also in this play, Zhu King ended up becoming the executioner.
Yeah.
And he sliced off Nether Sprite's head, and she was so scared. She was like, I think I might actually die here.
Because the killing intent.
Yeah.
That's what it was. They said the manifestation of the killing intent. It was just like, oh, like...
Everybody believed it,
Yeah.
And because of that, everybody across moonrite region, I looked it up, it is moonrite region, went crazy. They're like, we actually can fight back. And like, even if we lose, we fought back. We didn't just sit here and wait to be consumed.
Yeah, reading it was like, damn, I feel inspired. Because everyone was just like, deep within their souls, they're fighting back. I was like, yeah, they're fighting back.
And one other thing I really like is how the will of people can manifest into reality.
Yes.
So, for example...
That was the whole thing they did, the whole reason they did that.
Yeah, so for example, there's Destiny Aura, right? Everybody, let's say in a race, if you're really strong, you can get the Destiny Aura of your people. That's like a big thing. Another thing is in this scenario, the hope that everyone gathered was strong enough to create an actual like a real life entity of hope. Some sort of manifestation of hope that was tangible, so you can grab it, right? And that was what Zhu King, or what the captain was creating this whole thing for, because he needed that hope. And that was just like, I think that's really cool that everything in this world like has a purpose. Like even the bunch of nobodies in Sea-Scaling County, Sea-Sealing County, like all of them together created a strong destiny. Or in the Moonrite region, like no matter how little and insignificant you think you are, when all of you banded together, you created an actual manifestation of hope. Mm-hmm. And that's like leading to bigger and bigger things, and the captain uses that hope. And we find out even more about the captain here.
Yeah, but one more thing.
Yeah.
We gotta go back to the Crimson Moon Goddess.
Yes.
When Lizawa Li Zihua killed her.
Yeah.
She said she was gonna make her return.
Yeah.
Which she did. Mm-hmm. And then force him to kneel in front of her for the rest of his life. Which she did.
He's alive.
Yep, but the biggest thing was he said, I know all of that.
Yeah.
But he said he saw it when he was a god. And I was like, what? So he knew all this was gonna happen, and he still let it happen.
I think his children were really feeling some type of way.
Yeah, they were because they found out. They heard what he said, and they're like,
only Zhu King and the people there heard that part.
Yeah.
Not everybody across.
So I was just like, so what's the scheme here?
What is crazy?
What is the scheme?
That also makes me think that if Crimson Moon Goddess, she's a high god, that's important. Because, let's say for example, we know that he foresaw all of this, right?
Yeah.
He needs to at least be above the high god level, because if not, he could only see what Crimson Moon Goddess can already see. And if she could see what he saw, she can probably counteract it in some way.
There's probably,
meaning that he has to have been a higher tier god than Crimson Moon Goddess is even now.
So there's like definitely some kind of karma here that's like, so what is like what chess move like is being made? Like this is 4D chess, bro. And I'm just thinking like, so what is his plan? Because since Crimson Moon Goddess is here,
I'm just laughing at the 4D chess when this world is literally so beyond 4D.
Yeah, beyond time for real. Like what? I'm thinking like so.
They break down the seventh wall in this book.
So there's something about godhood that made him reluctant to walk forward on that path.
Yes.
And so it must have something to do with one, the hunger.
I feel like definitely the broken god is part of it.
Emotion. Yeah. Well, because he stopped being a god before the broken god.
Yeah, that was also a big thing. We thought that they became gods after the broken god, but
gods existed before
the broken god. Yes.
Which we should have known because when they told us about how the immortals killed the gods and sealed them away.
No.
So gods were still around, but it was just like that's not the mainstream, I guess, because they don't like gods.
Yeah.
So, but I guess because like since he joined them, they were like, yeah, you can become a god. Since that's like probably like since you're from brilliant heaven, like that's probably your preferred way. But he was just like, he became a god. And he was like, something's not right here. So there's something about godhood that, but before the broken face came, like there's something about it. There's probably, is it like some kind of karma?
There's definitely something big, and we also know. I feel like at least we can infer that being a god isn't just like
isn't easy. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm a god, I can stop everyone. It's like, no, gods have their own issues, and that is crazy.
I think it's been made very apparent from the fact that most people don't like gods.
Yeah.
And like even high level people that we find are still against gods. Like,
yeah.
There's definitely something like Zukin becoming a god isn't just gonna be like he gets crazy power ups. There's gonna be something crazy that because he's trying to become a god, he's gonna get something.
Some kind of backlash.
Some kind of backlash, some kind of karma that he's gonna have to conquer.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's really interesting because usually gods aren't portrayed like that. In a lot of wuxia novels, it's just like, oh yeah, I walked path of divinity and we're just chilling.
Yeah, basically.
I just have to devour divinity. Yeah. But in this case, it's just like, they kind of do have to do that, but it's like, there's still drawbacks to being a god.
It almost seems like what the sea-sealing county governor, like how he was using how he was the like figurehead of Destiny Aura, but the Destiny Aura was poisoned.
Yeah.
It almost seems like it's kind of a little bit of that scenario, but like the poison isn't as.
When it comes from the world.
I don't know. There's some sort of like poison. It's not exactly poison, but some sort of backlash that you'll get or something. That once you hit a certain level of godhood, you have to either can't pass or you like maybe something.
It could be a tribulation.
Yeah, it could be a tribulation
because like maybe gods have their own type of tribulation.
They probably most definitely do.
It's just like is it like the classic heavenly Tao like judgment like where there's like lightning? Or...
I feel like that wouldn't make sense because that's the heavens and as gods technically they're the heavens.
Yeah, we already did that with the Ascent Soul, so it doesn't make sense for that to do with God.
But there's a lot of stuff there that we will find out, but we just want to like leave that there for when we talk about when it gets figured out. You guys got some background information.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
That'll be cool.
We'll probably find out about it in the next when we read. Like not like too much, but I imagine we'll find out about.
Might find out something, yeah.
Like a little bit more.
We probably will, knowing as it's looking like Crimson Moon Goddess will be seen next read through. But back to the captain.
Shocker.
He gets all the hope from Zukin that was created from this play. Everybody in the Moonrite region is rising up. The Moonrite congregation is super excited because they're leading everybody to fight the Red Moon Cathedral.
They saw Zukin's face too, so
they did see Zukin's face.
Everyone's just like, oh, he's the hero. He's the prophesizer. Yeah. So that's cool too.
And then the captain takes that hope and uses it as a sacrifice to meet High God Moonfire, which is one of the three major gods of the Fire Moon
Dark Heaven race,
which is that super race that goes on the hunt every 100,000 years to eliminate a race, and it also is the race that we lost to in our prior fights.
Yeah, that sent us back, tens of thousands of years.
Yeah.
Because someone some stupid emperor.
Yeah.
He was like, let's fight them, even though we're weak. I was like, what?
And we finally just got our first domain treasure back.
Yeah, for real.
It's been a long time coming. And so the captain uses the hope to meet that high god. And we find out that not in his previous life, but one of his previous lives, right? There's the captain and this high goddess, what's her name again? Crimson High
Moonfire.
The high goddess Moonfire. Her and the captain were lovers.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yep, and she's clearly like extremely angry.
Yeah.
Because she's like pounded on the door that he creates.
Ex-lover.
Yeah, and he's like, why are you angry? And the eighth sim for the heir appearance of them, he was just like, I can read emotions. She wants to devour you.
Yeah.
He described it as a lover that was seduced and then left to the wayside. I was like, damn.
You know what this made me think? I don't know why. Is that the captain, from everybody that he's met in his past life, like, kind of hates him. Makes me think, like, will Zuking be the only exception, or will he follow the rule?
Who knows?
Because he literally uses everybody. But I do think Zuking will be the exception.
Yeah.
But I think that's important to note that, like the captain isn't loved. You know, like...
Well, maybe it's also because he's insane. It's probably not because, like, he's a bad person. He's just insane.
Yeah.
Like, you go up and be like, yeah, let's go take a bite out of the Crimson Moon guys. Everyone would be like, yeah, no thanks, bro.
Okay, yeah, that's true. And sometimes he makes people go on his adventures whether they want to or not.
Yeah.
Ning Yang. We find out here in the act that Ning Yan is actually the son of
the Emperor.
The Emperor.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because that's why he played the Emperor, Imperial Emperor here, because he is he has the bloodline. He has the bloodline of the Emperor of the Humans.
So the comments have always been saying he's like it was him or
some sort of
like he had some sort of big identity.
Yeah, and we've been known his bloodline is special since like we first got to Sicilian County when he literally was like almost eaten by Quao or the big bird Cow, something like that. Yeah. The big bird like tried to eat him, and then he was like, I have a special bloodline. Yeah. So we've been known since then. We just didn't know what it was, but we find out here. Maybe a legitimate son, some sort of bastard, maybe maybe the Imperial Emperor's brother's bastard. We don't know. He's far off the bloodline because if he wasn't, he wouldn't be traveling around with a meat shield for the captain.
Could be a runaway.
Could be wrong. Well, he met the seventh Imperial son. No? Where was he?
He just hasn't met him.
Well, the Imperial son was there for a minute.
Yeah, but like he was in the crowd. Like they haven't actually met.
I think they would have known.
No, because
stuff like that. I feel like they would know.
I don't think so. I think if he's a runaway, because like they never like said like specific like
You don't think they'd have like bloodline sensing things? I think they would.
No.
I think they would.
I don't think so. I feel like it's not.
I feel like they know he's an illegitimate son and they don't care.
I mean, they could be.
That's how I see it.
Because like remember the seventh person was like, have you found my brother yet?
Mm-hmm.
And like he was in Sicilian County. And Ning was so like he would have already, if they had bloodline residents, he would have known he was there because he would have been there.
I feel like they don't care about him. I don't feel like he's like a runaway. I feel like he's just like trash.
I mean that could be true too.
Well, who knows?
But we'll see. I mean that's gonna be a big part after this arc. I feel like because now they revealed it to us. Oh yeah, he's the son of the human emperor. Yeah. And like we kept saying, like he'll probably go to the Imperial Academy. Yeah. So we find out from the Moonfire Goddess and Captain talking that this was the god that helped Captain take a bite out of Crimson Moon Goddess. And back then, when the Captain died, he split up all his body parts all over Moonrite region. And they all have been like special treasures throughout the regions helping stuff grow. And he plans to get all his body parts back because he's going to need Moonfire Goddess's help again. Did he ever clarify what it was for? Or it was just like when the time comes. When the time comes, like, I'll let you see the sleeping Crimson Moon Goddess.
Yeah, that's what it was. So we're gonna have a help of a high god in this next mission.
High god versus high god.
At least 4 smoldering gods, probably actually 5.
Yeah, because they keep saying they're trying to go
get the 9th brother.
Yeah.
So 5 smoldering gods and a high goddess, which is be insane. All versus 1 high goddess. And we also learn here that the captain wants to get his body parts back from not this previous life, but one of his past lives when he was at least smoldering god level, which he'd have to be to even try to do something like this. We were saying, so that was pretty huge. Mm-hmm. And you want to talk about what he did after that?
So after this, they go back to what's it called? Bitter Life Mountain. Mm-hmm. Bitter Mountain.
Yeah, Bitter Life Mountain. Yeah.
Okay. So they go back, and this is where they start talking about Zoo King's poison gaze.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're just like, oh, wait, was that what happened, or did they go to the cathedral? Was it cathedral? No. Cathedral was after that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where Zoo King starts testing the poison gaze.
Yeah.
To the point where, because they were just like, they were talking about bringing out the potential in all of Zoo King's techniques. Because they were just like, all your techniques are cool, but you haven't really brought them to like make them like yours, like your trump cards, like, and to become trump cards, you got to bring out their full potential because you have a lot of godliness in your body. You know? The violet moon, the poison gaze, your body. It's like you got to really bring that out. So he tells him to put the poison, in his eyes, because he was just like, look what the broken face god does. When he opens his eyes, everything starts getting poisoned, mutagen. So he said, like, you could do the same thing. Yeah. And so Zoo King starts experimenting. My man's pulls out his eyes. That was before.
That was in the last arc he did.
Didn't he do this here too?
No. Well, this was after the eye gouging stuff was in the last one. Here he was just like trying to experiment more.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because I remember talking about the eye gouging last time.
I thought that happened here.
No. Last time.
But what did he do to put poison in his eyes this time?
I don't remember. They were just trying to do more of it, and I know also something that happened here was the dragon that he has in his body. What is it called? The heaven dragon.
The blue dragon.
The blue dragon. Like they also wanted him to like increase his power with that, but they don't realize that his dragons already loves him.
It's like his kid. Oh, that was a big thing because they were just like, oh yeah, you need to like
make the heavenly Tao like you, because if not, it might escape.
Yeah, and Zoo King, like, he looked at it as that it was like looking at it with a fawning expression. And so then they called out the actual memorial heavenly Tao. They're like, oh, so you have. They're like, yeah, we're the father.
Yeah,
I think it's funny every time.
And then I was pretty pissed because it was like, I could have been a father. But
and then I'm trying to exactly think what he did, because I feel like during that time he also went into the cathedral, and because the reason why he succeeded is because he started testing the poison on himself when he was doing the.
I think that was after test. That was after
sure?
The ritual.
The ritual?
Yeah. The captain.
Of the cathedral? Or are you talking about the poison gate?
No, I'm talking about when the captain's ritual. That he
for the moon thing done?
Yeah.
Moon fire?
We forgot.
I feel like I'm mixing up the order here.
Alright guys, what we forgot to say, for this whole play that happened, they had to go through a ritual set up by the captain. And this was important because the Wind Spirit tribe, I don't know, was that their name?
Yeah. The
Wind Spirit tribe, for the guys who wear all white in the desert, they're just like, they've been waiting this whole time.
Oh, that's how they got in there.
Yeah. They've been waiting this whole time to be like, how do they, like, they've been waiting for something. They don't know what it is, they just know they're waiting for something.
Yeah, the Green Badland Desert is the spot. It's just, he teleports into a different space with the daggers that they use.
So basically, the heir apparent already got all the holy artifacts from the white-haired guardians, and then the captain uses all of those, summons the guardians, and like says a chant to them that basically is like only the person who created this tribe will know the chant, and basically they find out that like the captain was the one who created this like species.
Wasn't the captain and the Moonfire?
And Moonfire, yeah. And so that's how they get into this region. I thought it was a separate arc. I mixed that up in my head. I realized now that was the beginning to get here.
Yeah.
And so we find that out, and basically the Wind Spirit tribe is all under the captain because he's like their super leader. He's like their tribe. Like start. Yeah. So that was pretty big. And then after that was all that stuff, and we did forget to mention that after the situation with the High Goddess was because the green hair balance is actually just one piece of hair from this High Goddess.
Yeah.
And it becomes its own zone. So obviously everything in the Moonrite region is under the control of Crimson Moon Goddess. But this specific area of the Green Life Badlands or Green Hair Badlands became a neutral zone. Not even neutral. Yeah, I guess you could call it just a neutral zone where the Red Moon Cathedral's powers could not touch. And so that was also something really big because people started trying to get into the Green Hair Badlands because they were like, this is safety. Because everywhere else the curse is popping up, the Red Moon Cathedral's going crazy, and it's like a big deal. And then this is when, after the ritual, all that stuff happens. It's not yet the Moonrite Congregation. What happened before?
I'm pretty sure they go in there. Like he does he starts testing his poison.
Yeah.
And then like in
the
middle,
they
go into the congregation.
Yeah.
And then they do the test because Captain's like, oh yeah, I just need to get in there real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we're the archbishops together, we'll control the whole region. So they go in there, and Zoo King, basically there's an automation spirit, so you have to pass 2 tests. One is, what is like your ambition, and like can you fulfill it? So he was just saying like, well, like if your ambition is like clearly like you're bullshitting me, like I'm gonna just freeze you up and throw you away, or seal you until another time.
That makes me think that sealed in this area is a bunch of void returning people.
Yeah, there's probably some strong people.
Especially because we saw that the spirit ottoman in this area was able to unfreeze people. So that means they're alive.
Yeah.
And so I think there's going to be some sort of reserve force later that Zoo King's going to be able to call upon. Or the captain, whoever becomes the archbishop.
Yeah, so for Zoo King, like he said, like he's trying to cure the curse. And so he then does like a little test. It's like, okay, he gets put into an area like where he can summon anything.
Okay. Coming your way.
Have it your way.
Have it your way. Alright, where were we?
We're back because the camera died.
Yep.
We were talking about the poison gaze for Zoo King.
Yep.
We mixed it up a little bit.
So there was a poison gaze scene where he gouged his eyes out before. We did talk about that last week, but there was another one here where Zoo King is trying to see the god with a godly gaze instead of his human gaze or his cultivator's gaze, which was his spiritual sense.
Yeah. And then when he was blind and he was looking at everyone, he could see colors, and everyone was a different shade of aura, you know?
Yeah.
And then when he came to the captain showed him an object he had never seen before, so he couldn't see the aura, and the captain told him, what color was it?
It's red.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was like, oh, okay, it's red. And then as the captain was like, oh, wait, sorry, my mistake, it's actually blue.
Yeah.
And then Zoo King's like, okay, I'm seeing blue now. And then the captain's like, there's some things that you just have to see for yourself. He walks away. Zoo King finishes his training of trying to see things with his godly gaze, and he goes back to just his regular, like, looking with his eyes, and he sees the items white. Yeah. The captain was so iconic for that, bro.
Yeah, it was funny. So, it was basically just kind of like he was just really trying to understand, like, how perception works. Like, like, really try to get to the bottom of it, because, like, obviously you can't just put poison in your eyes.
Yeah.
So he thought, he was just like, I need to just put poison, like, it just needs to be in my body, like, I have to remember it down to the very essence. But that's obviously difficult, because...
And, like, a big thing he was trying to do was he realized he can't just put poison in his eyes. To create the poison gaze, he needed to make the poison part of his very soul.
Yeah.
Which was insane, in my opinion. And so that was a big problem for him that he was going through. But during this whole situation, we get the heir apparent lets us know he has the biggest shard, a mirror shard, to get into the moonrite congregation. And he's like, if you guys use this shard, you guys can take the test to become an archbishop. And this is where we're talking about the frozen statues and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we go down there. Zoo King is in an area where he can create any materials he likes.
Yeah, for the test. So it's like out of thin air. It's not real. It's like anything.
The effects are real.
Yeah. So that's when his test is to make a pill that just permanently removes 50% of the curse.
Well, he said he had to get up to 30% to pass.
Oh yeah, and he did 50.
Yeah,
but during that he was just like, oh, let me just test all the poison stuff in my body.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of or while this is done, because like this is easy, I can already get it past the test.
Yeah.
So he did all that, and then he was about to get froze up because the spirit automation saw him and he was just like, give me the pill, bro. So he gave him the pill.
That was actually really cool because before he did that, like when the spirit automation was like, you're using the test for other means, and then literally the last thing that he used to put in his eye, he used his eyes, I believe, to put inside the pill, and it created the pill.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was sick. That was so sick.
That was sick. And then after that, after he passed the test, that's when he went to the door, and then he saw the Crimson Moon Goddess's seal that she put on the door. That's why no archbishop has ever been able to appear, because like they can't break through the seal.
Yeah. So once you get through the seal, I think you have to take a second test, or is the door the second test?
The door is the last test.
Ah, okay.
And then after that, or after he sees the captain's totem in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way to describe it is so funny. He's just like a little rat, just like and nibbling on it.
Yeah. So we see Crimson Moon Goddess has like put her own seal on the door, which is why nobody can pass. And the captain turned into his own seal on the door, and he's like eating Crimson Moon Goddess, and it's just hilarious. And basically, the captain's like, "Hey, Zoo King, I need you to get me." Oh, this is where he says, "Get me all my body parts."
Yeah, so you can infuse with it to eat faster.
Yeah. And in this whole thing, we find out that most of his body parts were easy to find. He knows where all of them are, except that kidney that we mentioned last week from that random lady who wanted to take Zoo King's virginity.
Yeah.
Not happening.
Nope.
And they're coming up with a plan to try to get it from that lady, who obviously is not simple. Because they find out that like she showed it on purpose.
Yeah.
She didn't just randomly find Zoo King and like, hey, you want this kidney?
Yeah.
Like she wanted him to see it.
Yeah. And also the last but the biggest thing was when Zoo King finally completed this poison case, because after the cathedral thing he was able to find like
the items, the materials.
He was finally able to like get the poison deep into his bones and soul. So he gazed up and looked at the sky, and he saw it was a completely different world out there.
He looked at the broken god.
Yeah. Well, that was the last thing he looked at.
I thought he looked at it first.
No. He saw the sky first.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
And then he saw all this he saw gods.
Yeah, he saw gods everywhere.
Painting with a brush. Another one plucked a star. And like it was just incredulous. And it was basically that. After that, and then he looked at the broken.
The face of the broken.
And his eyes was open.
Yeah, but it's always open.
Yeah, they're always open.
That's actually very big.
Yeah,
they're always open, but most people think it's closed.
Yeah,
and that actually made me think that high-level cultivators probably like follow the gaze, and like there must be a signal, because they think regular people think when he opens his eyes is when mutagen happens, right? Forbidden cities, forbidden grounds, forbidden regions. What's the other one? The God domains.
Yeah, or divine domains.
One of the two.
Yeah.
And but actually his eyes are always open. So what does it mean when he uses that ability?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be very big next time it happens. Zoo King hopefully is looking up. I don't know if it'll be like a big thing across the world. Everybody sees it. I'm assuming so.
Yeah, it has to be.
And so like next time it happens, we're gonna uncover some secrets.
Yep. And so Princess Bright Blossom shielded him from it. She told him not to look at it too long because it's very dangerous.
Yep.
And she said that the reason why you see things differently because weaker cultivators, their perception, since they're not strong enough, their perception is altered because they can't deal with
what's actually happening.
Yeah, so as you get stronger and your perception alters, you start seeing what the world really is. It's like a veil on everyone. And we're assuming beneath Smoldering God.
Yeah.
Which is probably true.
Well, yeah, I think that's a pretty good assumption, seeing as the heir apparent and Princess Bright Blossom
are Smoldering Gods.
Both Smoldering Gods, and they're able to see the world.
Yeah, so this is also why we said there's probably a huge bottleneck at Void returning.
Yeah.
At the peak Void returning, because when your perception gets altered, there's probably some kind of bottleneck there.
You know, what it might really be, too, is that it might be a case of advancing to the next stage is do or die.
Oh, that's true.
So it's like, if you succeed, Smoldering God, if you fail, you die. Which is why people either stay at peak Void returning and never take the chance, or we just don't see Smoldering God because they die.
Yeah.
That might be because they love doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's actually not even new in here. I think it's the same thing with going from Nest and Soul to spiritual. If you won't die, but you can crumble your foundations if you don't get through Tao Begetting.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I think it could be one of those scenarios as well. And that was really insane because what happens when Zoo King becomes Smoldering God is he obviously they won't always look like that.
Yeah.
There must be a way to
Nah, maybe they
put the veil back on or something.
Maybe not, because they said that's what they always deal with. So it's probably just.
That's insane though.
Yeah, that's probably why. I mean,
you think by then he must be leaving Revered Ancient then by the time he gets Smoldering God. He might go into the Brilliant Heaven or something then.
He might not be. They might be fighting gods and Smoldering Gods, bro.
Well, what I'm saying is Revered Ancient may be too small of an area for him once he becomes a Smoldering God.
That's tough to say.
Because Zoo King is not going to be a regular Smoldering God.
Yeah, that's true.
He's going to be super peak, greatest world ever created Smoldering God.
The problem is that since other high gods exist, it feels like he would need to actually reach the next.
Surpass them.
Yeah, I think he needs to pass Smoldering God to leave Revered Ancient.
Also, total side note here that I wanted to mention is that I think it is important because they always say Imperial Sovereigns and Ancient Emperors. They always mention that.
Yeah.
They kind of, in my head, they always mentioned them as equals before. But it was made very clear in these 30 chapters that all Imperial Sovereigns were under the Ancient Emperor.
Yeah, that's
Dark
true.
Serenity. Because so the whole reason that when the Imperial Sovereign was cutting off Crimson Moon Goddess, that Wu Jianwu was acting, saying his lines, was because he was acting as Emperor Dark Serenity.
Yeah.
Because when something of that magnitude happens, the Ancient Dark Serenity, Emperor Dark Serenity, had to give the AOK for that to happen, and he said he took all the karma from that happening. So we find out the Ancient Emperors a tier above the Imperial Sovereigns. I thought that was a really big deal, even though, because they always say Imperial Sovereigns and Ancient Emperors.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, Ancient Emperor is different. Imperial Sovereigns are one step below.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is crazy. We're going through it. Well, we're going to go through all the chapters by next week. It should be 60 chapters, so we're doubling up from our 30.
Yep, so next week will be a long podcast episode.
We're sitting here as long as it takes.
Yep, as long as
we're not shortchanging y'all.
Nope.
As long as it takes. My Monday is cleared. I have time. But yeah, this has been episode 68 of Light Novel Fiends. It's been Adamar.
Peace, gamer.
Peace.